On this show, we have reported on a variety of reasons that people have found themselves kicked off of planes, which brought me to have the question, what exactly are the reasons that you can get kicked off of a plane? Now, fortunately, lifehacker.com was there to swoop in and answer that question, and I have found the 11 things that can get you kicked off of a plane and also how you can handle it after the fact. Now, a lot of these are really self-evident, and again, we've talked about them before, but there were a couple that really I hadn't thought about. So let's fly through some of these and then we'll dive into the more intricate ones. So obviously not following crew instruction, being disruptive, being too drunk.
Being Alec Baldwin was on there. It was weird. I was like, why'd they put being Alec Baldwin on the list? That's only important for one person.
Number 4 is having a crying baby. They go on, they say, it sucks, but if you can't get your baby to calm down, flight crew may ask you to get off and catch a later flight when the baby has accepted its fate and decided sleeping is a better use of its time. So that sucks. But apparently that is a reason. If your baby is too disruptive, you can get off the plane.
What if your baby is drunk and spouting like pseudo-racist stuff, saying like, make America great again,
winning bigly,
Donald Trump's your president now.
Not only should you not be flying, but you should be
what if you have a slutty baby? Like deemed slutty by the stewardesses because the baby's wearing perfectly acceptable baby wear. You know how babies sometimes wear just diapers and they show legs, and then the stewardess is like, your baby is inappropriately dressed, so we're gonna have to kick her off this plane.
What babies do you know?
I'm making a joke about all the stories that we've covered incessantly about how people get kicked off of flights for frivolous shit, for just being themselves half the time, just like Alec Baldwin, except Alec Baldwin was just drunk when he gets kicked off.
One could argue number 5 is also being yourself. It is smelling gross will get you kicked off of a flight. They say it doesn't happen often, but it's listed by most airlines like Delta, American Airlines, and United as an offense worthy of removal.
What's the legal language for it? Don't smell gross, yuck.
I'm not sure about that. Also, number 6 is not wearing shoes. That's pretty evident. I wouldn't expect to be boarding a flight not wearing shoes. But feel free to take your shoes off once you're in your seat. I do that a lot because your feet swell up when you're in the air. That's a life hack for you, lifehacker.com. And then number 7, we've talked about this a lot, and this is very broad language. It's very obtuse and kind of up to the specific flight crews to interpret wearing provocative clothing. Who knows exactly what that could be? It could be either something super sexy or it could be something on their shirt that is offensive or provocative. Doesn't matter. That is up to the discretion of your flight crew. So just probably stay something neutral. I don't know. Just wear black.
Here's what. Can I butt in here real quick and just say something?
Yes, you may.
I wish they followed all these guidelines. You know why? Because then it would just be me on a plane, not smelling gross, with no crying babies, and the entire plane to do whatever I wish.
Oh, Hasan, you spoke too soon because number 8 is being too big. It is possible to be too big.
God damn it.
So passengers who are too large to fit into plane seats, or as Delta puts it, quote, unable to sit in a seat with the seatbelt fastened. It does sound discriminatory, they do acknowledge that, but it does have to do with safety with regards to the seatbelts. Now, usually on a lot of airplanes, they will have seatbelt extenders to accommodate larger passengers. And obviously you're-
Don't look at me, I can fit in a seatbelt.
You're a big guy!
My legs don't fit in the seat, or my shoulders don't fit in the width of the seat. It's annoying. And it's sizest as hell. I'm kind of joking. Like they have an economic incentive to just maximize the amount of people that they can allow in their cabin space. I totally understand that.
You gotta maximize your life.
Which is why I suck it up and I just my legs are basically crumbled into crap at that point. But whatever. Okay, it just.
I have a weird one for
I feel like
9.
the legal team. Before you get to the 9th one, then I just want to say this. I feel like the legal team for airlines get together and I just picture them being like the douchiest, frat broiest guys that are just like, yeah, let's write this document. It's like, yeah, fuck fat people, put that in there. Oh, they smell gross too, no shoes. Unless they're, like flip-flops or whatever, I don't know. And then they just get together and write like the dumbest reasons to be like,
no provocative, like no sluts though.
Yeah, don't dress weird, bro.
No leggings.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just keep it. I honestly, that is a fair. A lot of the stipulations that they make on the contract of carriage, which is what you
Pretty
sign,
discriminatory.
It is very.
It's just like
it's hard to make sense of. Number 9 does make a lot of sense, although I hadn't thought about it before, so I'd be interested if you guys were aware of this. Being allergic to nuts might be grounds for you to get kicked off of a flight. Lifehacker expands on this. They say people with severe nut allergies have a hard time flying since airplanes are basically multi-million-dollar peanut transporting devices. If your allergy is severe enough, there's a small chance flight peanuts on that flight. Flight peanuts? What are just peanuts?
They're just mile-high nuts.
Peanuts, which is kind of a bummer to me. I mean, I'm glad you're alive or whatever, but pretzels suck. Pretzels, peanuts, whatever it is, they're both gonna be kind of bad.
What about peanut butter filled pretzels?
Ooh, that's not bad at all. That's
wow,
really good.
combine best of both worlds,
now,
you know what I'm saying?
Number 10,
my favorite snack.
Number 10 is another sort of broad,
overreaching.
Yeah, well, it says looking sick. Now, obviously, you should not travel when you really are sick, but whenever I travel, and I hope no one has ever seen me in an airport, I pretty much look miserable. I look like I could have the plague. I don't, but I just look that way because I'm already pale as it is, and I just wash out real easily. I become translucent. You can kind of see my veins in my neck. I look like I could be a carrier of some sort of infectious disease, but I'm not.
So every Tuesday morning before you put your face on.
Yes,
to come on.
True.
This is her with a pound of makeup, you guys.
He is saying that as a joke, but it's very true. There's also a reason why I'm wearing this hat to cast a shadow on the pimples today. Very weird, like pale pimples. It's a gross combination. In any case, if you are looking somewhere in the neighborhood of what I look like, you could be ostensibly asked to leave the flight.
If you remember, this was a big point of contention around the Ebola scare because they would always they would systematically tell black people with a cough that they couldn't board their flights because they thought Ebola instantly. Like they were just like, oh, you're black and you have a cough, Ebola, get the fuck off the plane.
I forgot about that, but that was
ridiculous. Just like, look, these rules are, we have this idea that air travel is incredibly dangerous. And I get it because you're freaking a mile up in the sky and it's terrifying and things could go wrong and you could die, right? Except it's very safe. It's technically safer than public transportation because car accidents are way more likely to happen, or being injured in an accident when you're transporting yourself via a train, especially if you're driving the New Jersey Transit. Sorry, too soon. The reason why we're afraid of it is because we're very primal, in the way we think about air transportation, right? And that's why we allow for these crazy rules, these crazy rules that would not be necessary nor acceptable for public transportation. But then again, I kind of think about it and it's maybe it is a good thing that they have some of these rules because if you've ever been on public transit, if you've ever been on a bus, usually there's just a homeless guy jerking off in the corner, smelling real bad, checking off all of those check marks that you wouldn't.
Well, you said jerking off in a corner, and really the final
segue.
The final list that they have, the final nomer, is joining the Mile High Club. That will indeed get you kicked off of the flight. Although, what's interesting about that
how do you get kicked off the flight?
Because you're already in the air. It is a little bit interesting how they would do that.
They open up the exit. The emergency exit, and they push you out.
But they give you a chute, so it's fine. No, that's one of those things. If you've ever joined the Mile High Club before, I'd be curious to hear how they handled it. Because I was on a flight one time, and two of my friends, it was our senior trip in high school, so we were stupid. Two of my friends tried to join the Mile High Club, and those stewardesses, they shut it down hot quick. They got into the bathroom, they barely shut the door, and then there was a stewardess gunning down the aisle and just being get out of the bathroom. It's really a hard thing to do. So I am sure that is a policy that they strictly enforce because
unless you fly private.
Okay, well, of course, that's very different. Now, let's say that you have been removed from a flight. What are your options? What can you do? Don't worry, Lifehacker has you covered there too. They say, quote, being removed from a plane is an involuntary denied boarding, meaning you are entitled to compensation as long as you didn't do anything against the law. According to the US Department of Transportation, the airline must reimburse you a ticket equal to 200% of your one-way fare to your final destination that day to a $650 $650 maximum, as long as the substitute transportation is scheduled to arrive at your destination between 1 and 2 hours after your original arrival time, between 1 and 4 hours for international flights.
The problem with that is if it's a $650 max, that severely limits your options if you're traveling from a highly populated area like Los Angeles to another highly populated airport like New York, where same day tickets will cost way more than $650. Where is this person going to? Is it Kansas to Missouri? Like
well,
what?
Look, don't worry, because even if you feel wronged or slighted and they weren't able to fully cover your compensation to the $650 maximum, you can still take up your claim and file a complaint with the Department of Transportation. So you have your options if you, for whatever reason, match one of these 11 reasons that you could get kicked off of a flight. But we want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Had you heard of all these 11 reasons that you can get kicked off of a flight? Have you ever been kicked off a flight before? Or have you ever witnessed someone get kicked off of a flight? We want to hear your stories. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.